Hey everyone, I'm back with part 2 of my review of 193. I know sometimes I shouldn't be doing that, but there's some people out there that do reviews in a couple of parts. And anyway, as I was just saying, we just ended on the fact that the alliance has been made between Miles and the Freedom Fighters to get rid of Scourge. But to me, I don't think you could trust him. I think there's more to this than meets the eye. Now we go back to Mobius in the Good Doctor's Tower. Alright, he's suiting them all up, or helping them out. And basically the Doctor asked them, basically Sonic asked, the Doctor, where can we find Rosie? And he says, and the Doctor basically tells him, best guess would be Castle Acorn. And before they leave, the Doctor wants to make sure Buns is okay. She says, don't worry none, the bot's fine, I'll keep the do-gooders safe. Hey, and the Doctor just basically asks Sonic, well, how do you plan to get home? And he says, hopefully your star post at the castle is still up and running. And after that, they finally take off. And Buns is actually surprised that Sonic knows the way already. And he says, hey, this is Anti-Mobius. I remember where our Robotropolis was from the Great Forest. And basically finds it. Which means basically puts your castle in the same distance. So they finally enter the castle. Amy's a little creeped out by the fact and asks Buns, how can you live in a dump? And Buns is like, never was a fan of cushy lifestyles. It's a castle. But anyway, they enter the castle, and all of a sudden Sonic notices something, asking the ladies, asking the girls, hey, did anyone see that? Because it's basically what they have is Rosie the Rascal is following them, and they don't know it, but Sonic can sense it. And then all of a sudden they hear some singing from Rosie coming from the corridors, or not the corridors, but through the corridors and through the throne room. And Amy, as you can see here, is a little creeped out by what's happening. And so basically they finally find the source of the singing, which is the throne, as Bun says, is the throne room. And there we have Rosie, the Rascal, Anti-Amy in the original Amy outfit, saying, oh, phooey, you're not my Scourgy. And that, she explains, my Scourgy ran away. And then Sonic's like, well, that's why we're here. We're hoping you'd help. But before he can finish, Anti-Amy, or Rosie, is basically saying, Scourgy is always so mean. He ignored all my attacks when I was little. So I used the magical... Basically, she explains that she did the same thing that Amy did in issue 79 to make herself older, and that still Scourge runs away from her. And then Amy kind of acknowledges that, yeah, I did the same thing, but you make it sound creepy. Or something like that. And Sonic's like, well, no, in this zone, there's got to be some side effects. And Rosie basically says, yes, there was. It shattered my brain all to pieces, and because of that, she breaks everything else. But overall, I think it was a very interesting story. I'm sorry if I had to do it in 2 parts, and I'm sorry if it sounded like I was reading the entire story to you in a comic book. I'm sorry about that. That's my apologies. But overall, it was a pretty good story, and I thought it was, decent. I can't wait to see what next issues is going to be like, how that's going to lead into the whole situation of the next couple of months, but it sounds interesting. I can't wait. And I like how they kind of made the fact that, Rosie the Rascal is, when she, that Rosie and Amy basically did the same thing, but with Rosie, it shattered her brain, made her go insane, But with Amy, it's basically because she wanted to go on a mission and spend time with Sonic. Now, as far as the backstory goes, I have to say it was a pretty good lead-in to the, it's not much, but, you know, pretty good lead-in to what the comic book, to the game, I should say, Sonic Unleashed is going to be like. Pretty good story. It's not that, it's a good lead-in, not too bad. And I think, you know, this might be the last of some of the backup stories or short adaptions that we get, you know, with this comic book, with the Sonic Universe thing coming around. But like I said, overall, it was a pretty good story. I have to say that, you know, finding out that Buns Rabot, or Anti-Bunny, is working for the Good Doctor right now, you know, was surprising. But not really, because, you know, apparently she wants to get even with Scourge herself. Oh, for leaving her for dead. And as far as the Alliance goes, if you look at the look, if I can find it, on Miles' face here, if you could look at the look there, it's almost like, yeah, it's a look of good, you know, the Alliance has been made, but it's almost like a look like, not only that he's got a backup plan, he's got a plan besides this plan, not just to get rid of Scourge, but to also probably, you know, take over everything, if you know what I mean. You know, that's just what it looks like to me. But overall, I thought it was a good story. Like I said, I give the rating of the story probably an 8.5 out of 10. And as far as the backup story goes, I give that maybe a 5.5, or 5 out of 10, I should say. The main story, an 8.5, pretty good. Leading into continuation and leading into next month. And like I said, it was pretty good. You know, I like how, you know, Buns kind of mistaked Sonic and Amy for enemies, but found out that they're not. And like I said, it's pretty good. It was an excellent story. And like I said, it's a good lead-in and continuation of the Scourge saga, or the brand new Mobius saga. And overall, like I said, you know, pretty good. And if you haven't gotten your hands on it yet, I suggest you do. You'll enjoy it. And that's all I have to say for now. And I will be back soon with my opinions, my monthly opinions on the Sonic the Hedgehog comic book and whatever. So until then, peace out and God bless.